Hey guys, it's TB, and I thought I would casually slide in here, like it hasn't been 2 months since I put a video up, and show you guys the boat that by the time this video is published, will be available here on NA. I know it's already available, so if you're on the other servers, so if you're on one of those, not really any big surprises in the boat, but for those of you on NA, we are today here looking at the Tier 8 PanAsian gunboat destroyer, the Fenyang. This is a PanAsian Akizuki that they definitely went through and they made some statistical changes to it from the original boat. And I have to preface everything that I'm going to say about this boat by saying that having ground my way up to Akizuki and then beyond, I was really looking forward because Tier 8, as many of you may know, is my favorite tier. Yeah, the guns are little, but with that rate of fire, I mean, I love Atlanta, I love Worcester, Smolensk. And so a gunboat destroyer with those kind of with that kind of rate of fire, I mean that should have been like right up my alley. And I have to be real honest, Akizuki is not my favorite Tier 8 destroyer. It almost never comes out of the port. I didn't sell it because I haven't sold a Tier 8 yet, and I don't plan on starting. But I never play it. And I never quite got the hang of it. I don't know why. I can't give any better reason other than to say I just never clicked with that boat. And I never was able to do real consistent damage with it. Every now and then I'd have a good game, but for the most part, I saw it as just a support boat. I would see who the battleships were shooting at, and I'd try to annoy the crap out of them. You only get one rack of torpedoes, and so the torpedo angles are terrible, so they're really more opportunistic, like the torpedoes on the Russian light cruisers. But anyways, this isn't a bash on Akizuki video. I'm just trying to set the stage for what I'm about to say by saying that I went into the Fenyang here knowing that it was a Pan-Asian Akizuki with very low expectations. Other than I wasn't going to like it. That was about the only expectation that I had. And then, you look at some of the numbers, and this is the first video I've done since the update that added this really cool feature. The data here in the middle is still pretty useless other than for a basis of comparison versus another boat. You can see that the boats are basically identical. Fenyang is a little worse on the guns, which I don't know that I agree with, and a little bit better on the torpedoes, which, yeah, okay, maybe. But what I like the best about it, and Wargaming, if you're listening, let us add more than one boat to a comparison, or two boats to the comparison. It would be nice to be able to, and I think that there's room to get 3, maybe 4, and even on a phone like I'm using right now, and still have it not be too crammed. I mean, there's a ton of room here you could condense. Anyways, this is a really cool feature. It does let you look side by side at two boats. And so we've got the Fenyang and we've got the Akizuki, the boat that it's based off of here, where we can look at them side by side. So, nothing important up there. First area where we see a difference between the two is in hit points. Akizuki does have a slight lead on hit points, about 240-ish in that neighborhood. Same top speed, but Fenyang actually does get a little bit of an acceleration buff, and then it does get a little bit of a maneuvering buff. And I will say that it is noticeable. We'll go over my recommended equipment in a minute, but you do notice that it maneuvers a little bit better. It's still kind of a pig. And then we get to the guns. So you can see there that the reload time on the Fenyang is 4.6 seconds, which is an increase over the stock reload on the Akizuki of 3 seconds. It was pointed out to me that, well, that's a 50% increase in reload time. Yes, it is, absolutely. But I think that that's taking that statistic and looking at it in a negative without really looking at the whole picture. A 50% longer reload on a battleship or a cruiser or the Yudachi. I mean, that's adding a considerable amount of time, 3, 4, 5, 10 seconds to a reload time. That's huge. That would be a big deal. Talking about adding a 50% reload length to a 3-second reload, slightly more than 50%. You're still at a sub 5-second reload. So I yes, the rate of fire is lower. It is compensated for with a smidgen more range, kind of negligible, a little bit more damage. I didn't crunch the numbers to see the percentages, but you can see that both HE and AP do hit a little bit harder. And I feel like even with the reduced reload time, for me personally, I noticed that the guns did hit harder. I felt like I was able to do a little bit more damage. And that 1.6 seconds longer that I had to wait between letting salvos go, I don't notice that time as much. Better players, you guys may notice that 1.6 seconds and just be sitting there going, oh my god, 4.6 seconds. I gotta wait so long. But for me, an average, slightly above average player, I don't notice that difference. I do notice the difference in the damage. I notice the difference in that range, as minor as it is, and being able to hit targets. So I feel like that's a fair trade-off. And I have to say that in the games I played in Fenyang, I had more fun than I did in the grind that I had for Akizuki. And I think that difference was worth it. Moving on to torpedoes, Fenyang does get deep water torpedoes. That does hurt you, I think, because as bad as the torpedo angles are on Akizuki, they are opportunistic. If you're on Cage or Epicenter and you're holding that center island and a DD rushes you, Akizuki, at least you have the ability to put a rack of torpedoes, or 2 racks possibly, in their face. Maybe not kill them, but maybe startle them off, get them to turn away, at least a maneuver. With the deep water torpedoes, you get rushed by another DD. All you've got is your guns, and the maneuverability is better, but it's still not great. So I do think that the deep waters hurt the boat a little bit. That said, they do reload considerably faster, which is the compensation for the fact that Fenyang does not get the torpedo reload booster that Akizuki gets. You can see they do a little bit less damage, which I kind of found surprising, because the whole point of the deep waters is that they can't hit destroyers, but they hit a little bit harder. Or at least that was my understanding of them when they first introduced them here to Blitz. But the damage difference is negligible. You do get another 600 meters of range, which, I mean, between that and the historical camo, I think I was pushing 10 kilometers. I'll take that. You get another 6% on your chance of flooding, and you get a faster torpedo traverse speed. And then, oh wow, I didn't even notice that before. So they actually nerfed the AA on Fenyang versus Akizuki, which is surprising because DDs are, aside from select few, not known for having great AA. Also makes me kind of wonder why they gave it defensive AA. Anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. And then you can see they knocked 400-ish meters off the detection range, so it's got a little bit smaller concealment circle, which, is nice. Elite options, advanced engine, advanced torpedo, meritorious service. I went advanced engine. I do feel that was the better option over advanced torpedo, only because you only get 1 rack of 4. Yeah, they reload in 58-ish seconds, but without the torpedo reload booster, you've got 4. You could, I guess, make an argument that that's worth it, buffing the flooding and the the damage if you can get yourself a straight line battleship to eke every little bit out of it you can, but I'd rather take the speed and the acceleration and try to keep the boat moving as much as possible. Historical camo. So some of you may notice that the turrets do not fit the theme of the camo. I have not been able to confirm with Wargaming one way or the other whether that is intentional or that is a bug. I personally like to say that they are bathed in the blood of the vanquished, but I don't know what's going on with that. So your guess is as good as mine. So historical camo gives you firing range on your guns, torpedo range, traverse speed, surface detection, and goodies at the end there. Details. So again, deep water torpedoes. 2 engine boost level 1s, 2 smoke level 1s, not fuel smoke, regular smoke, which is nice. And then defensive AA2, and you get 3 of those bad boys. And I just don't know why. I guess to make it different than Akizuki, but I would much rather have had that torpedo reload booster. I think it would have made it a very strong ship. As it is, I think it's pretty well balanced. It's not OP, it's not total garbage in my opinion. It's pretty well balanced. I enjoyed playing it. I hope to be able to add one to my collection. And I think I saw something out of Asia last night that it's coming in a crate and maybe a bundle both. It's going to be in a crate with the Loyang, I believe. I didn't take the time to jump onto Asia to look at that, so sorry. But by the time this video is up, you're going to be able to log into the game and see how it's available. So I do have one game for you guys real quick, so we'll jump over to that and we'll take a look and see how it does in battle.
Target spotted.
All right, so in the interest of time, I did cut the first minute or so off of this video because, well, me driving to A really wasn't relevant to anything else. But yeah, so you see, I do have a teammate behind me in the cruiser, which is nice. If I remember right, it's lost, but roll up, found ourselves at Kagero, Baltimore, and Ugumo. I just forgot. I totally forgot to go over the building.
The situation is under control.
Captain skills are pretty self-explanatory. If you're not sure, you can always check one of my past destroyer videos. I don't think I did anything different. Definitely took the skill, the captain skills that boosted the
engine boost
ship
activated.
Skills. Obviously, maximize those. For equipment, I am in this battle. I'm running turret traverse, acceleration, and concealment. I did end up switching acceleration for steering in slot 2, and I do recommend doing that. It needs it. You can see it's a little sluggish, and I'm about to get surprised around this corner. I thought I was being sly heading for B and had been focused on what was behind me, wasn't paying attention to what was ahead of me, and yeah, I'm we're coming around that corner going, oh hey, there's a Kagero.
Enemy torpedo spotted.
So obviously hit the brakes, hard right turn, and managed to only take one, which did flood me, forced me to burn a kit. But now that I know he's dry, you know, I was trying to figure out whether I was pushing, whether I was pulling back and waiting for help, but Lost said he was coming, and so I said, all right, let's go. And especially when I saw the Fletcher was split on the other side of the island, I knew we were going to be able to catch him in a crossfire, and so decided to load the AP and push on B.
Enemy aircraft incoming.
Figured might as well take advantage of that last smoke, not give him any free shots at me. And I'm trying to definitely put him down while I can, before his torpedoes reload. So that worked. I'm not going to complain about the way that worked there at all. So yeah, I do see the carrier,
engine boost activated.
And yeah, I am headed his way. Judge me. all in all, though, I mean, using that gunfight there with the Kagero as an example, yeah, the reload, that 1.6 seconds probably would have really helped to have.
Nice shot.
But I feel like the AP was hitting hard enough. I was getting enough guns on him. He was close enough. I was getting the hits. That, yeah, the reload would have been nice. Yeah, having a rack of torpedoes I could have used to keep him where I wanted him, to keep him from turning broadside to me, where his torpedoes may have reloaded. Yeah, those all would have been nice things. What's up, Lost? But
The situation is
ultimately,
under control.
I still don't know who I hit with that torpedo. I think it was at North Carolina. But ultimately, I feel like the balance is still fine. The reload is fast enough. The guns hit hard enough for 100mm guns. I don't think that there's any real big, huge loss. So, the team's now pushing here towards C, and I'm pretty healthy. I am out of everything except my defensive AAs. I've made full. This was actually the first game I played in this boat, and I was making full use of the consumables that it had.
Locked on. Enemy aircraft
And
incoming.
last set of torps from that destroyer. Thankfully, I started maneuvering.
Anti-aircraft gun.
And I'm pretty healthy, so I had made the decision to push. We've got a lead, but the win is by no means in the bag, and I don't want to be in a position where I could have done something and end up leaving this to be a loss. Yeah, that Mogami is going to be an issue, and I didn't start turning soon enough. I think even if I had continued my course, I still would have eaten that one torpedo, but that hurt. I just got slapped by somebody, not entirely sure, and so you can see I'm not long for this game. That North Carolina is in range, so since I know that the Mogami's probably going to kill me here in a second, there we go. Got myself a fire with no way to put it out. I know I'm done. That's it. So that was my first game. And I remember saying, alright, well, it wasn't too bad. And then Lost said, watch your torps. And, yeah, this helped. So I'll take that. Did end up getting myself an MVP in my first game in it. Damage was okay. Not great, not terrible. But I was trying to look and see if I could find that, where that carrier went, since he was what was left. But thankfully, Lost was in Cleveland, and we had a solid lead at this point. So no risk at losing at this point. So, anyways, guys, that's Fenyang. I feel like that one game kind of showcased everything. So there wasn't a lot else to see. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do have a couple of plans for other videos I'm gonna do beyond just boat reviews and information. I'm working on them now. Just life is life. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, have a good day, and we'll see you out there.